After a lot of rubbing alcohol, a lot of cotton balls, and a lot of cotton swabs, and a couple of paper towels, we finally got all the old graphite grease off this cam gear. So we're going to take this out to the garage, and we're going to put some new dry graphite grease in this track right here, around this outside right here, and then on these are the focal points. I mean, obviously, I'm not painting this stuff off on with the brush, so it'll be a little bit rowdy. It's not going to be the cleanest lubricant application ever, but it'll get the job done. We'll have better coverage because the previously it was just at least in this track it's just barely on the sides and barely in this track right here. Also, I'm kind of curious if this little dude needs could benefit from a little bit of graphite grease because this guy right here. So let's see here. The way this guy works is when you turn the auto on, it goes and it pushes. I've taken these levers off. So these are the little trips that start and stop the auto mechanism on the start and return on this Garrard turntable. So this hook will hit this plastic lever, which is on this side of the turntable, and then that pushes that lip right there, and that catches the dog on there, and then that's what gets the gears to engage the gears over here. And so I'm just kind of curious if a little bit of dry grease, at least on this part, will have it help it slide just a little bit better while it's in this piece right here, in this little section. That's what holds it in place, this little guy right there.
I mean, to say that this is not as accurate as the previous lubrication job is an understatement because that shit just comes out of that can super fast. But I'm pretty happy with the coverage, and thankfully it dries pretty fast. So, yeah, we're just going to go ahead and call that good. I went ahead and put a little bit of additional graphite grease on this part right here. So I've not done this aspect before, so we'll see if that's. I'm really hoping I don't outfox myself and that causes too much friction for the auto start, and I have to take this off and take all that grease off. So, but that's only like that's not that big of a deal. So yeah, I got the cam gear re-lubricated, installed, put back together. I've got the lift on off auto installed. We did have some minor casualties. I lost the original spring clip that went right here and the spring clip that went right there on that junction. Those went pew, and they're lost somewhere on these floors, and I just didn't feel like searching for them. But I have this little backup thing of E-clips from Amazon, which has proved to be very handy. So the next steps from here, we're going to get the multimeter and make sure the tone arm doesn't need to be rewired because it never fails. I'll get these turntables put back together and I'll have to take the tone arm back off because my heavy handed ass broke the 67-year-old or 60 some odd year old wiring. So I'd rather find out now if it needs to be rewired versus later when it's almost completely rebuilt. And then we've got these pieces cleaned up pretty well. This was just caked with that old grease. This is where the auto for the stacking spindle, the little long bit, that's where it sits and goes boop boop and drops the next record. It makes that sound too. These 990Bs, they go boop boop. And then tone arm, these pieces right here, and then we're going to break this, or not going to break it down. We're going to open her up and just make sure that she's got plenty of additional oil in there. She's spinning pretty good, so actually I may not take her apart. That's if that was seized up, obviously, or if that was sluggish, but that's spinning pretty well. I may leave well enough alone on this little lady. May just add in some, maybe just loosen the screws, add some oil down here in the reservoir, and then up here in this little rascal right there, and then just call this a day. Yeah, I don't think we need to do a complete teardown on this guy. So good. I always do these last because these add a good amount of weight to the deck, and it gets a little unruly to, gets a little unruly moving it about. So we're going to stop for tonight and get this back up and running in the next day or two.